Welcome, our dear viewers, for today's another episode on the Environment Dialogue. We are here always every Wednesday at UCTV, and you know that we are the only television, we are the only mainstream media having such program for the public, for our Ugandans, because we believe that we need to protect our Pearl of Africa. And I know that with this information that always we bring different guests from the ministry, from the public, from the civil society organization. They have a lot of information that they need to share with you. And that's the reason why today I am with a very wonderful person who loves the young people. He has done a lot in the community and is still doing more and more. And today, you will know him, you will get to understand his mind. That really is a very... These are the people who should even be appointed to be ministers here in Uganda. But just stay tuned. Don't touch your dial as you listen to him. Let me not waste your time. Let me go straight to him. As he introduces himself, he talks about himself. Then you hear it by yourself. Welcome, my dear guest. I don't need to tell them whom you are, but you'll tell them who you are by yourself. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dickens, and our moderator for today's dialogue. My name is Sanyu Arthur Blick, and I am privileged to be serving as the executive director at a young youth organization called Anchors for Youth Africa. We call ourselves AYA. AYA is an organization that is run by young people and focusing on young people. Initiatives that bring out the well-being of young people, and such initiatives include: 1, economic empowerment for young people; 2, we are not thinking outside the environment that we work in, because it is very paramount that we need to conserve the environment we do. So we have projects, we have programs, we have interventions aimed at protecting the environment by the young people and for the young people. Also, we also run health initiatives. That includes sexual and reproductive health, mainly for young people. And our focus as an organization, we are looking at young people between the ages of 15 to 30, mainly out of school. And we know why we are focusing on mainly out of school, because of the challenges that surround them as young people who are trying to make it out in this life. So we are an organization that runs different initiatives. And like I said earlier, environmental protection is one key intervention that we're running currently.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the ones who are watching us, I call them our viewers, who are so passionate about the environment, about protecting the Mother Earth. You've heard from Arthur. Today is here to digest the information about our topic of waste management. That's why we are saying today that, are we really thinking about the waste management in Uganda? Did you know that every day that Kampala, capital city, or Uganda collect over 2,000 to 2,500 solid waste? And where are they deposit? Or where do they take this waste? And we have seen, according to that database of KCCA, that is only 200 solid waste that are recycle. Then now, should we apply the 3 R's? That's reduce, reuse, recycle. And that's why I've called Arthur, because I've seen him doing incredible work in reduce, recycle, and reuse. And that's the reason why we are here to digest our topic of waste management in Uganda. Our dear viewers, let me take this time as we go into this, as Arthur takes you deeper, because with these statistics you've seen what's happening in Uganda right now, like in Chitezi, what really has taken very many lives, which we are not happy with as Ugandan. That by the time waste becomes a problem in Uganda, remember the recommendation in 2011, where it was written to KCCA that Chitezi was supposed to be closed. But what happened? Why was the place not closed? That's why we need to explore this together. Thank you very much. As I go into this topical discussion with my guest today, while asking him, why have we really failed as Ugandans in waste management when we have people like you who have been impacting life, who have been turning, at least with the smallest resources that you people have, but at least you have touched lives. We have seen that you people have made a lot of things using using this waste, and this is what someone want to understand who is in the community down there, want to understand what's the problem really with our government, the authorities, that we are seeing that waste has become a problem to the public health and also to our environment. So please, can you take us through that? Because I know you are an expert in that.
Thank you, moderator. Like you rightly put it, waste is a public health issue. And I think that should be the starting point. That if we recognize waste management as a public health issue, then we would then have interventions that are geared towards addressing this as a public health issue. The only challenge we have currently is that we are looking at it with a side eye. We are not minding about it. But I also want to tell our viewers that waste management is a source of livelihood. We have very many numbers of young people who are into this whole value chain of waste management. I want to believe that along the way you have met young people who are carrying sacks and sacks of these plastics.
That's true.
Where do they take it? And what forces them to go back to collect the same plastic?
I think that one time I got an interaction with the Paul Nisima of Coca-Cola, and he said that at least for them as Coca-Cola, they have tried to put their agents at their center, that really they like their depots, that these young people collect these bottles and they take them there and they get some money. But the young people also were complaining that find that a kilo of these bottles is only 300 shillings. But again, Paul said that for them, they like what they do to their agents, they make sure that at least they charge them, like they give them that at least a kilo is 1,000. But you find that there is also a conflict now there where the young people, they're saying that they're almost getting discouraged with that. So I don't know. And Coca-Cola will say that they cannot do almost put up all their depot, as you have said, all over the country, because also things to do with resources, whereby also they need the community initiative intervention and also the government intervention, which is really, I know that with that, with your experience, you've been working with the young people, I know that really you can also maybe give a directive, or maybe you can guide even. Maybe I know that there is a government, there is maybe a civil servant there, or maybe an agent of the government, or one of the MDDAs is listening to us and maybe wants also to buy your idea, what they can do.
I think the biggest challenge is starting from our mindsets.
Yes.
And mindset is a very, very critical human element.
That's true.
Practice usually makes it more better. Our biggest challenge is the practices of our people in this country. I can take an example, a very simple example. There is a community that I know, a very small community, but has strict guidelines that members follow at that community. And that community is here at Mulungo. Have you been to Mulungo landing site? It is a landing site, but if you went there,
just here in Munyonyo.
In Munyonyo here, just take a visit. You don't dump anything called kavera. You don't dump anything called plastic. If you did as a client, the person who served you will be penalized. And I can tell you, the mindset there is, as you enter in, the people tell you, please don't risk our lives. I don't want to lose my job. And these are business people, run by privately owned entities with boards. I tell you, you step in, you step out of Mulungo without a smell of a landing site,
wow,
without a kavera, without a plastic bottle. You come with it, make sure you go back with it. And that's what we call a mindset. I believe for sure, that we have a lot to do. Some of these things I have seen laws that have been passed of putting dustbins in cars. These are good initiatives, but if they are not followed and implemented to the dot, they are not practiced within a home setup. For example, do you sort your waste at home?
Waste, yeah. And that has been the
It's
issue.
very simple. Get 3 buckets, very small buckets, sort plastics here, sort food items here, sort various there. If all of us did that in our households and we came to the public offices and found the same setup, the mind is then aligned. And once the mind is then aligned, we will not struggle with the Chitezi, because then Chitezi's work is much more easier. We know that at Chitezi, we shall take the decomposing waste. We know that we will have a point where we are taking the plastics. They will come and collect it. It is just the mindset of people that needs to be aligned.
And you mean like people are blaming KCCA for nothing when the problem starts with them?
You see, KCCA is an end result. KCCA is managed by people who start from home. They themselves don't have these points of separation from the home. What are they going to implement in a public space? But if everyone keeps on praising our neighbor, you know that neighbor.
Yes, I know.
Even when you enter the country alone, the mind is then aligned.
That
you don't need anyone to tell you. No. The mind is very conscious. It says, "Hey, my neighbor is watching me. My neighbor is my keeper." If it starts from that, you go back home. You'll even start looking around. Who is watching me at home? You'll do the right thing at the right time. The biggest challenge we have in this country is we want to do post-mortem. Chitezi wouldn't have reached there. We have 5 divisions of this city where we work from. Each division has a working and operational budget. Why don't we have those different Chitezis in different divisions? Why wouldn't we have a point where we're encouraging investors to come and recycle? Free running costs. Government is offering these incentives. Why don't we
not
do
only investors, even I saw you last time in one of your workshop, how you were training the young people of how to cut these plastic bottles, and you boil them and you make with
that's the neighboring environment I am saying.
And you're one of the local investors whom the government should be looking at.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. That if we intentioned our thinking and purpose into solving a problem, then we would then identify young people who we are not the only ones. I don't want to
that's true. Yeah, that's true.
I subscribe to a network called the Climate Smart Young Action Network, Youth Network. We do a monthly cleanup at Portbell, Kamani. Why are we doing it? We want to raise awareness. We want to change the mindset of young people. Did you know that at Kamani it used to be a dumping site?
Yeah, that one I know.
There is a whole stage called Kasasiro. Because people would bump their Kasasiro. Why? Because it's the lake. It is easier to take the Kasasiro the other side.
And I've seen the place has changed.
So we are calling upon our partners. We are calling upon our leaders. It starts with us. Before we go to KCCA to blame it, it starts with me. Let's develop that practice of sorting from home. You take a soda every day. If you can't do without it, reduce on the numbers so that you don't have 5 bottles. You have 1 bottle. I appreciate the initiatives of some hotels who have replaced the plastic bottle with a glass bottle.
Yeah.
But do you know how long it takes for a glass bottle to decompose? Over 1,000 years.
1,000 years.
Now,
which is a problem again to the environment.
But at least you reduce. You can't take more than 5 plastic glass bottles.
Glass bottles.
So, coming back to your initiative, 3 R's. Let's reduce. Let's start with reducing consumption. If we reduce consumption, most likely our companies will reduce on the production of plastic bottles. But do you know where the conflict is? They are paying a lot of taxes to government. So there is a challenge there.
Imbalance.
You get conflict of interest. Government wants money to do development work. But that money comes with a lot of effect. And then we run to government at the end of the day. Please, Chitezi is full. Where do we go back? Do you know that they had introduced a tax on each plastic bottle? Where does that money go?
We don't know.
It enters the mainstream because our budgets are small.
That's true.
So the government is more focused on rising more in terms of increasing the pockets of our budget line, but they are not addressing the real causes, which would then reduce on the budget used to solve the problem. If we had 3 recycling plants, or 4 in the 4 divisions of Kampala, for example, without Central alone, Makindye, Nakawa, the other one of
Dundu.
No. I'm talking about the divisions.
Oh.
So if we did those, and they are not very expensive at the beginning. The initial capital. World Bank has been giving us money. Why doesn't World Bank give us money intention to do these sort of
to build these facilities?
Yes, and then we do a private partnership.
That's the reason why with the incidents that has happened in Chitezi, I saw like a civil society organization, like from your side, they were coming up and saying that KCCA or NEMA should do what? Should come up with a plan of bringing on board like a bipartisan initiative where there are people like you, people like, as you say, that you are not alone. There are very many people who are into this. Get those people, bring them on board, and say, you know what? We want you that in this small money that we get from World Bank, that we get maybe from Bank of from different. I know that they have different World Bank. We have seen World Bank. We have seen African Development Bank. Also, they are there. We have also Ugandan Development Bank. Those small grant, why can't you give with these people like you people? Then
Can I give you an interesting story?
Yes.
As Aya, we are trying to do, like you rightly said it, we are trying to do recycling of plastics. And our focus and intention into this industry, we want to produce and encourage alternative construction materials.
Yeah.
We know as a country we are faced with a construction boom, where every part of the country they're at least constructing.
That's true.
And like I told you, if we looked at this waste management as a resource, how the question would be asking is, how would we then tap into the market? For example, we are doing plastic pavers. The biggest challenge we have is, one, to change people's mindset that these can also construct a very good house, long lasting, and they can compete with the other alternative materials. Where is the biggest challenge? As an organization, we have tried to introduce that idea. And the biggest is, have you gotten the due certifications? Now, that is a whole tedious process. We are currently, and we want to appreciate Chambogo University, School of Engineering, the Department of Engineering, who are trying to support us with the tests. Tests alone
good.
Are very expensive.
Yeah, I know.
But for me to come with a plastic block like this paver here and tell you that we can pave all this, imagine if we changed all this, pave this compound with the plastic pavers, how much of the plastics would we have removed out of circulation?
A lot.
So as we need to look at it in terms of, one, it's an opportunity for us as a country, comparative advantage. We have a lot of Kasasiro.
That's true.
That is the country. We shouldn't be shy about it. Okay?
Yeah.
You shouldn't be shy about it.
Yeah.
But how do we tap into this Kasasiro? The other day, we are reaching out to. There's a program called Tasso Tonde.
Yeah, Tasso Tonde.
And we are trying to sell them this idea and telling them, yes, it's good. We are planting trees, but if I can take you, for instance, within Kampala, you may not plant any more trees.
Yeah.
You have nowhere to plant them. All the places are clogged. We go to our lake body, it is all dumped through. Where are we going to plant the trees? And the menace is in Kampala city. That's where the industries are. That's where business is. So instead of I know government is running a very good initiative of planting 2 million trees.
Yeah.
Very good. Can we also balance those energies and put them at the recycling and reusage of plastics? The Buy Uganda, Build Uganda. This should be the initiative we are looking at. That you change anything. For instance, if engineers are passing construction plans, can we have a plan within there and say, we want you to use 50% plastic material and 50% the other alternative materials that you want to use? Such initiatives then will then sink down to the people, to the investors, to the home users, to the business owners, to the school owners. These are people who are promoting the business of plastics.
Wow.
We need to change the idea of making people follow the due diligence. The biggest and maybe the last one is that I know we have a lot of beautiful policies.
Yes.
Very many.
And I want us to come back for that. Let's go for a short commercial break. As we make some money, then we'll come.